Alright, the Reds, it's Thursdays talking Reds. First off then, with Kopi today as usual on Thursday. How are you getting on with all the Kyiv stuff? Have you tickets sorted, travel sorted,
Sound,
sorted, all sorted?
Yeah, I've got all kinds sorted. Well, you've heard about my trip. I've been on telly talking about it and everything now.
I know, yeah, you're a TV star.
I finally got
like
there.
Steve Warnock.
You and Steve Warnock there for years ahead of me. There's a long story behind ours. I set up a WhatsApp group with like 3 other lads, including Adam Mealy and Ben Jono, who lots of you will know, and my mate will go to the match with, who we don't name, just because it winds them up. And I set up a WhatsApp group with them because I was like, I knew you'd all be sorting whatever you're sorting, and a few other lads I'm not sure about whether they go. Honestly, within about a week of setting it up, I was like, this is the worst WhatsApp group I've ever been in my life. Ben Jono just lost his head completely. He ended up wanting to book. Every time we had any route planned, he was like, well, let's fly to Dusseldorf first.
Oh, he loves the Dorf,
like, we were going to him, why do you want to go to Dusseldorf so bad? I've got a theory he's got like a wife there or something, and he just hasn't mentioned it yet. But so anyway, long story short, we found well better flights than they'd found. But we were like, well, the whole point of doing it is to have a laugh with your mate, so there's no point 2 of us going on a nice, safe, like lovely trip, and them going on a boss adventure, and you're going on the bus now. I was like, that'd be boring. So I just went to my mate, oh, we'll just go with them. So we fly to Dusseldorf, obviously. Why wouldn't you? The Dorf on the Thursday. We have a night out in Dusseldorf on Thursday night. Then we get the train to Brussels. Then we fly from Brussels to Slovenia. And then we fly from Slovenia to Kyiv.
Slovenia's boss, you know, we've been there before.
Is it? No.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
I was thinking,
fantastic.
Well, me and Adam were talking about all the places you might get stuck in and just live for the rest of your life. I remember talking about that in Istanbul. I reckon there's still Liverpool fans there, just stuck in the middle of like the moonscape, just setting up communities and stuff. But we were saying Slovenia, maybe that'd be the place we'd stop. And
I think you'd be all right.
It's
there,
like a secret gem, isn't it?
Yeah,
Have you been?
Nice. Yeah, I've been. I travelled around Eastern Europe with the missus years ago before we had the kids and that. Did a bit of interrailing and all that, and I loved Slovenia, really nice place. So yeah, it'd be all right getting stuck there.
So how's your bus going?
Yeah, so our plan is, the Anfield app is that we're going to get a bus. It's an all right one, like, you know, it's quite a nice one, and I think it sort of needs to be for this absolute epic that we're going to engage in. So the idea is we leave Liverpool on the Thursday, you know, we go down south, get on the ferry. I think that's the plan anyway. I'm not sure actually where we're getting on the ferry. I know we're getting on a ferry somewhere. Maybe we should look into the itinerary a bit more. We're getting onto a ferry and it's taking us to Europe. Then we're going to Berlin, staying the night in Berlin. Then we're carrying on then basically all the way into Ukraine. The Friday, there doesn't seem to be that much of a plan around the Friday, I've got to be honest.
It's just going to be sitting on a bus all day.
Just sit on a bus and get your head down if you can, type of thing. Although various people have started to say you can come to this pub, or I might have a room for you or whatever, so that's nice, and you know, we'll see what happens with all that. And then the idea is go to the match, and then after the match we're going to drive after the match to Prague. We're going to stay in an hotel in Prague. Hopefully have won the European Cup and that. Have some kind of night out in Prague and then come back to Liverpool on the Monday. So it'll be an adventure, and like, you know, it could be the end of the Anfield app, to be honest.
I know, I was thinking that.
Because, you know, like all us in close proximity for all that time. Yeah. Can you imagine?
There's so much risk involved in it, like from a business perspective. I even about our trip as well. I always think, because I was saying to Neil, we'll film our trip if you want, and it'll be brilliant, and like the footage will be fantastic. But all the bits that you're going to see will be all the fun bits and all the great bits. And the bits I think we should film was when everyone's just really fucking sick of each other, and you've been sitting on a bus for 15 hours and you can't get off.
I can't sleep because you're snoring. Shut up. All that, you won't get to see that. We'll all pretend to be boss mates and we'll do a travel diary and say, oh, it's boss. I've made up that I'm on a coach for 5 days.
And then you get an email a week later saying this is all finished.
Well, the other thing as well is that like various people have got, you know, ins and outs and fingers in pies about tickets and what have you. Me, I'm just one of the ones in the ballot, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed. If you don't know about that so far, the club have confirmed that 25,578 people have qualified and applied and registered for the ballot. There's 16,626 tickets. So according to the club, you've got like a 1 in 3.7 chance of being successful to purchase a ticket on Monday. We find out tomorrow, so fingers crossed and all that. But you know, if you really like me and you've just got a spare and that, Robbo Heighton Twitter, drop us a little DM,
Robbo Heighton.
My mate loves this. So I've had people in the past who come up to me and they think my name is Rob. Yeah. That's my first name, and Bo Heighton.
I love
That's
it.
my surname.
I think it's brilliant. I think it's brilliant.
Like I'm in my best mate's phone as that. Do you know what I mean? Like Rob Bo Heighton.
Well played.
Mr. Bo Heighton.
Well in your
So yeah. What else was I going? Oh yeah, what happened about your hotel? Because weren't you getting like one of them mad messages where they were like, actually, Mr. Coe, we're having some trouble and we're going to have to cancel your booking or something like that.
It's brilliant. Like I heard,
because that's happening to lots of people.
Yeah, I heard Dan Austin talking about this a couple of weeks ago on a show, and I haven't seen him since, and we're going to have a little chat with him because he was saying, oh, it's terrible that it's Kyiv and that. I'm saying the same about Kyiv that I said about Istanbul. I love the fact that it's in a mad place. Yeah. And I was saying it, one of my mates was saying to me, this is a long time ago, Istanbul obviously, but I remember at the time saying to him, no, it's perfect that it's Istanbul, because we'll have these stories that no one else has got. And our dads and granddads and all them, they had Paris and Rome and all the rest of it. We don't want them. And it gives you a unique story that no Liverpool fans got. And this is part of it. Like I booked a hotel about 2 months ago because I was confident we were going to get there, especially around this time, the City game. And I booked a hotel for like 30 quid in the middle of Kyiv on booking.com. And I thought, that's mad. Like, that's quite cheap, that still, considering it's the Champions League final. And about 2 weeks after I'd booked it, I got an email in Ukrainian from the hotel, like, which I translated in, I don't speak Ukrainian. I Googled it for me. And they said, oh, sorry about this. Like, we've made a mistake with your booking. We're going to have to cancel it, and you can book it again for £1,000 a night if you want.
Oh, yeah, all right.
And I phoned booking.com and said, you can't do that, can you, surely? And they said, no, I wonder, why is that happening? And I went, do you not know what weekend it is? And they didn't. They were like, oh. And then when I told them, like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And they were like, so the hotel's told us they're fully booked. And I went, well, they can't be fully booked because they tell me I can have the room again for £1,000. But anyway.
There's loads of it going on. Like, people, if you're watching on Twitter, loads of people are posting up things like, you know, they're getting messages saying, oh, there's no Lecky that weekend. So we're having to cancel your booking. Or we've had a flood. So we're going to have to...
It's amazing how much shit's going on in Kyiv right now, isn't it? Floods, electric strikes.
But then what's boss as well, you've probably all seen this, is that... people have set up this thing where they're basically saying you can come and keep on my couch because
really
I can't be having this rip-off thing. So that's boss. Yeah. I mean, we've got some people helping us out, as I say. There's a Russian lad who we've had on the show who's a brilliant lad, Sash, sorted me out for tickets a few times. And he's like, I've got some mates in Kyiv, might be able to sort of booze away, like there's a back room where you might be able to record and you could leave the coach there and all this sort of stuff. And I'm like, yes. I mean, because, you know, like we sort of take the piss, don't we? I think a lot of us about the LFC family and all that and blah, blah, blah. But actually stuff like that's quite nice, isn't it? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It sounds that there's like people going, well, they're only coming to watch the footy. Like, they shouldn't be getting ripped off.
Yeah,
do you know
of course. What I mean? It's really nice that. Like, I was reading about the lad who set up the Facebook one and thought, it's dead, and it's a bit like you going to Rome, and I think a lot of us forget this, and we should all remember it a little bit more. Is the people are just people all over the place, and there's good and bad everywhere. And when people come to someone's city, like the minority of people who are bad apples, whatever, other people don't want that to. It's same here, isn't it? Like we have people who give our city a bad name, and when most tourists come here, they're just looked after and they leave saying, oh, it was absolutely brilliant, because all the other people here, 99% of people, want you to leave saying Liverpool's great, you know.
Exactly,
and it's the same in Kyiv, and it's the same in Rome, and so
absolutely.
It should be quality.
The footy last night then, Huddersfield, who had absolutely no chance against the mighty Chelsea because they're going to win every single game, and they're going to pip Liverpool's fourth spot.
And it'll be your fault when it happens, by the way.
And I will justify that. I won't. But yeah, they drew mighty Chelsea with Huddersfield. Huddersfield stayed up and they jibbed the plane home and they went on the aisle.
Yeah,
good on
love
them.
That.
And so it all means now that we need a point against Brighton at home on Sunday, and we've definitely boxed off a top 4 spot. Well, that is if Chelsea don't win 16-0. So, you know, which is probably
don't
unlikely.
Dismiss it, mate.
Well, yeah, you never know, do you, lads? I mean, you know, just think that could happen, and why you're being all confident and that, I'm still worried about that, lad. Should have been sewn up by now, lad. 16 goals for Chelsea, it could happen. No, it couldn't.
I saw someone say last night they're even more worried now because we only need 1 point. How does that work?
Right, Liverpool are unbeaten
when we needed to win.
Liverpool are unbeaten at Anfield. I'll repeat it, unbeaten at Anfield. The only club in the top 4 divisions in England who were unbeaten at home all season in the league. Liverpool. Brighton have won 2 away from home all season, and they're now safe. They've got nothing to play for. Oh, don't underestimate Brighton. No, lad, you're making your first mistake there. I'm just a fan. And I'm a fan of Liverpool Football Club, I'm a supporter of Liverpool Football Club, and what I've seen across the course of the season is a team capable of getting a point against Brighton. We're all right. Like, honestly, I'm sure there's people flinging shit around bedrooms and stuff.
I hope so.
You know, based on the tweets.
If you are one of them people, can you start filming that and sending it to us, please?
Bit specialist that, we might have to charge. Let's have to charge for that.
Is that the additional subscription package?
New scat channel. But what else did we want to talk about? Yeah, so that happened, Huddersfield and Chelsea.
Yeah, well, in
the 16-goal thing. Yeah, Huddersfield were great as well. I love the goal. Also love the save. Did you see the save from there, Kyiv?
No,
absolutely brilliant save. Yeah, well into him. Now you're younger than me, so I don't know if I've put this one on the agenda, but I don't know if it's going to be as memorable to you as it is to me. But it's 32 years today since we beat Everton in the '86 Cup final. Now for me that was huge, because I was like a 10-year-old lad watching it in ours. I'd done the posters in the window and all that, which people are doing again for this final, by the way, which I love. People are start dressing up their houses in and around Merseyside, putting big rosettes and banners and scarves in the windows. Boss, that's what it should be like. But I remember it being like that for the '86 Cup final. It was this team poster of the two teams joint together.
I remember that.
Still got that somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, when Rushy scores and we win it and all that, it's just huge then, absolutely huge. And I remember running out in the street, just like knocking on some Blue Nose's door. Yeah!
I love the thought of that. So a young Robbo knocking on Blue Nose's doors. It's been your whole life just winding them up.
Honestly, I loved it. But what we did as well, one of the reasons I put it down, I mentioned this before, but I always like to mention it because I loved it, and I'm still going on about it when I'm like in my 40s. But we used to, when Rushy scores at Wembley, it is the '86 one where this happens, isn't it? Where he knocks the camera over.
Yeah, classic.
And what we used to do, we used to always just play footy on the field for hours on end, basically until it went dark or until someone's ma said, get off the field.
The good old days.
We used to, I know, we needs the Hovis music here or something, doesn't it? But we used to put a can in the corner of the goal, which was representing that camera that Rushy used to knock down. And so, if you were going through, if you'd skinned a couple of your mates, you'd try and put it in the corner and knock the can over and be like, rush, and do the commentary and that. So I just wanted to talk about what a blade I was when I was a kid. But do you remember that then?
I don't remember it because I was only 6.
Right, okay.
I remember the 89 one better, yeah. But I've obviously seen it so many times, and I had that poster as well, I had that in mind for
do you remember the commentary in '89 of Stuart McCall scores, doesn't he, for Everton?
Yeah.
And the commentary, which I loved and stuck in my head, was it's the perfect volley with the left foot, Trevor. Which was just superb to come up with that off the cuff.
See, as you mentioning Everton as well, I was just saying to Robbo as I walked in that sometimes people say to us, I just talk about Liverpool every day, what is there to talk about? And literally as I was walking across town, I bumped into an accountant that I know from my previous life, and he's an Evertonian. He was saying to me, "Oh, excited are you?" I was like, yeah. And it was dead funny because he went to me, "Do you know what the worst thing is being an Evertonian now?" He went, "When you pity us." He went, I can take you taking the piss out of us, but when you feel sorry for us, it's even worse. I said to him, "Don't worry, mate. Me and Rob have got you covered there. We'll do plenty of taking the piss out of you if you want."
My mate's a Blue Nose, he's not sitting watching these every day, but the one where I went on a rant and I just ripped loads and loads of stuff in a row, and I think Walshy clipped it and put it on the internet and it went mad. It ended up on all their forums, people saying they're going to come up and butt me and all kinds, and he saw that. And he was like, your true colours come out there, didn't he? Yeah. That's what you're really like. So you need to be careful, And I'm like, of what? I'm just saying you're a shite and that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's allowed,
funny,
isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Imagine, do you know what I always think? Imagine the other way round. Imagine. Oh. That's my favourite line in life now. Imagine this the other way round.
Exactly.
It'd be ridiculous, as if they would have any sympathy for us whatsoever.
Well, I mean, at the start of the season, when they spent all that money and they were getting that excited, they were giving it loads. Our heads were falling off and all this, and Merseyside power shift, and now here we are, European Cup final.
They were right, there was a power shift.
Yeah,
we got more
better.
Powerful.
Yeah, we got even better. So, well in Blues. Football 365 today, there's an interesting article on there, quite enjoyed. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but have a read of it. Matt Stead on Football 365. But it's just an interesting thing, and I hope you'll like this, because what the idea was, it was Aldo was in the Echo the other day, basically saying that we need four. He says we need 4 quality players worth £50 million each. We need to get £200 million spent on new talent. We need the best we can get. Now, this obviously is like, this happens a lot, and this is what he's pointing out. Because he says in February 2016, Alan Hansen was talking about Liverpool spending more than 200 million. Ian Doyle and the Liverpool Echo did an opinion piece and talked about there needs to be an investment near £200 million. And he's like, where does this figure keep coming from of £200 million? And how come people can't look at the current size and go, hang on, they've done really well and they didn't spend £200 million? And so what he goes on to say is, like, Klopp's record really and Klopp's style as a manager isn't to do that. So why do people always say over and over, he needs to go and spend? So he's not going to. He's probably not going to. There'll be a link to loads of players. It's already happening and all that, and we'll talk about that all the way through the summer. I wouldn't mind betting now that we end up in August and he's probably bought, 2, 3, maybe? And probably not for £200 million. And it's kind of this thing where I just think, and this is why I'm calm about it all, is I really like Jurgen Klopp. I've got faith in what he's doing. I think he's doing a great job. I think we've had a good season and good times this year already, no matter what happens now. And I just think you've got to have faith in him to buy who he wants to buy, to jib who he wants to jib, and to do what he wants to do with the money. And like the net spend, the 200 million, all that, I can't really get that involved in it anymore. I've done it in the past. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, footy makes a hypocrite of everyone, I think, at some point.
Of course, yeah.
But honestly, right now, I'm zen about Jurgen Klopp. I'm all right with it. Whatever he wants to do with this squad and the money, I'm sound with it.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Like, it's probably just shows how slow everyone is to learn things, really. Because, like, obviously, everyone's got stuck in their head that you have to spend money and this is how much you need to spend and all the rest of it. But compare us and Everton and the money that got spent and what's happened, and so what? Like, this
is not just about the money, is it?
No, and it's amazing actually that people. I mean, Aldo is neat, so does it surprise me he's saying it? No, not really. But it surprises me that most Liverpool fans would think this at all when we've got a left back there who cost £8 million, who everyone absolutely loves. Yeah. And I think this is the bit Klopp's been talking about since he came in, isn't it? Is that, like, the lads we've got now will literally get better next year.
Yeah.
So there will be lads who, like, I keep thinking about Gini Wijnaldum. Gini Wijnaldum scored 8 goals or something, whatever it was last year, and he scored 2 this year. So he hasn't kicked on in a goal scoring sense, but that, I think we all have this thing in our head that, like, growth is linear, so it's like straight line. So people get better slowly and slowly, and so which isn't what happens. There's a good chance next year Gini Wijnaldum scores 10 goals from nowhere, and all of a sudden you're like, God, he's turned into a goal scoring midfielder again, which is what he was when we bought him. That can happen with anyone. Some kids could come through. Harry Wilson might come back and do a Trent. So yeah, the 200 million thing is mad, isn't it? I think what I would say is, for anyone going mad about, like, because I'm not saying I don't want us to spend money. I think the point is, I'm not asked how much money we spend. It's all about.
Yeah, it goes back
to the Rafa thing, doesn't it? It's not about buying table legs. It's about buying the right table legs for the table, and that's what Klopp's all about. And he's shown with Van Dijk, and the club has shown with Van Dijk, that when they identified someone who is perfect for what we want, they're not afraid to spend the money and big money. That's a world record signing. So, could I picture one of them? Yeah, I could picture him saying, to get this one lad in this one position, we're going to have to spend 60, 70 million quid. Do I think he's going to do it 4 times? No,
probably not.
Can't imagine it.
I mean, yeah, the point is just getting behind what he's doing, because I wrote something yesterday and I had to look back. I've done this so many times, but I did it again. I need to save the page or whatever, but there's a page you can look at where it shows you all Liverpool seasons in, like, a bit of a graph form, and like how many points they got, how they got on in the cups, all that kind of thing. And it's always a bit of an interesting read. And my points that I used in the piece I wrote was that if you look back, since it went to 38 game seasons, which I think is 95, 96, about then, I think it's about 22, 23 seasons anyway. There's only been once before where Liverpool have in consecutive seasons won more than 70 points. What they've tended to do is boom and bust. And so this season already, we know that we've got 70 plus. We've got 70 plus now. We've got 70 plus last season. And so that alone is an indicator that we're heading in the right direction. There's clear progress under Klopp, and so I think you've just got to sort of bang on about these things all the time, because we're doing all right, we're heading in the right direction, we've got a really good manager.
Did you see Andrew Beasley on Twitter off the back of my article yesterday. If you don't follow Andrew, you should.
He's good, yeah.
Liverpool's really good.
Base tune to red,
yeah. And he did a chart showing European Cup finalists in England and the points they got. So not just pure points, like how many points do people usually get when they get to a Champions League final? It's very rare for people to get to the Champions League final. This is something I think me and you are keen to get into people's minds.
Definitely.
This isn't something that happens.
That Liverpool have been in.
Like literally it'd be my third in my lifetime. And I'm nearly doing as well now as the greatest Liverpool side that we all grew up hearing about from our dads and uncles. It's incredible. But he was basically saying, I think if we win on Sunday, which we should, we're basically at the average for European Cup finalists in this country for points in the league, because it's dead hard to get to the European Cup final and get loads of points in the league, no matter who you are. And this is talking about Man United when they were the best team in the country with the best squad and all the rest of it. So it just feeds more into our point about just enjoying it.
Just enjoy it, yeah, absolutely. If you enjoy what we do, by the way, we've been pushing this because it's coming up to the closing date to vote. I think it's sometime next week. I think it might be the 17th. But yeah, if you like what we do, you like our podcast, please vote for us in the British Podcast Awards. We're in the running for the listener's choice. I think it's 1,300 podcasts have received votes. And at the last look at the votes, if you like, we were told that we were in the top 20. So we'd quite like to win it. It'd be nice to have a shiny award to stick in the studio downstairs, and it all helps to get other people onto the Anfield app and that kind of thing. So if you'd like to vote for us, it's britishpodcastawards.com/vote. I wanted to give a shout to Home Baked, by the way. It's the bakery just over the road from the Cop at Anfield. Get in there, go and buy stuff before the last game, because A, it's fantastic food, and B, it's a community-run organisation and it's great. But the reason I'm shouting them up right now is I spotted a tweet by them this morning, and I knew someone would do this, and I made up they've done it. They've got a new special, the Mo Salad. I knew someone was going to do that.
Haven't you trademarked that?
No, maybe they watched and thought we should use that. So if you want a Mo Salad, you can go into Home Bake. But they also do clock pies, Shankly pies. Honestly, fantastic food. Get in there. The Mo Salad, if you're interested, is couscous tomatoes, cucumber, and a pomegranate and lime dressing. So get on that. See? It's not all just pies and that round the footy these days. Gibbo went down to Anfield yesterday, and he's got a bit of a story to tell you from there. So that's next, and we'll be back in a minute with the papers.
We're here at Anfield, the Kenny Dalglish stand more specifically, where a new mural has been displayed today. It involves 25 schools from the area around Anfield. They've all done 5 years each to commemorate Liverpool's 125-year anniversary. So they've obviously seen the one that they've been working on, but this is the first time all the children have seen them all together in one mural, and it looks pretty cool. So let's go and have a look.
So over the last 2 years since the Red Neighbours scheme launched, the amount of work that's gone in projects like this with the 125 years memorial is just phenomenal. The school feels a real connection with the club now that perhaps wasn't there before, but definitely is now. It's brilliant. It's a permanent fixture there now, isn't it? So the children who do get to the game can take the parents, the grandparents to see that the work that they've done about the history. So it's just fantastic for them.
All right, today's papers then, and most of them are concentrating on, rightly so, Huddersfield and the fact that they've stayed up well into them, Klopp's mate. I've seen a few people tweeting saying they wondered how many kisses Klopp put on the text to Wagner. So when he gets back in the dressing room and has a look, I reckon 3. What do you reckon? 3 kisses?
Do you reckon he's an emoji man?
I think he is, because I remember Carragher told us a story where he said he sent Klopp a message just saying, I think there was a little bit of a period, I can't remember when, where there was a few people getting on his back and they were like, Liverpool aren't doing what they should be doing. And Carragher sent him this big thing saying, everyone's behind you, you're the right man, you're doing a great job. And he said, I just thought it'd be a nice thing to do. And he said he got a reply back, just the thumbs up. And he was like, is that it?
Is that it? Nothing else. I love it when people do that. It's like an automated, it's like a robot replying to you.
Sounds.
Yeah, well, I reckon he's definitely emoji.
Do you reckon
but I don't reckon. I think everyone's being far too generous, saying he'd be like, "Oh, thanks, mate." I always think Klopp's sound and Wagner's sound, obviously, and he's one of the reasons everyone loves him. You'd love to go for a pint with him, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I reckon if that's me and you, if I'm Klopp, I'm sending you a message saying, "You're messing, mate. Could you not have beat them? Like, stop getting carried away with this point. You haven't done me any favours."
Yeah, what are you up to there? You could have sorted the top 4 there, lad.
Yeah.
Why are you getting thrown up in the air? No, I mean, fair play to them, and it's a decent away for us as well. It's only an hour or so down the road. Enjoyed our trip to Huddersfield, actually. But if you could open a few more turnstiles and that for getting in, that'd be nice, boys. You must have a bit of money to invest now. The only other one that sort of caught my attention in the papers, not loads in there today in terms of dead interesting stuff to talk about. Just Mourinho. We like to talk about him cocking things up potentially at Man United and that type of thing. Always enjoy that. They've got a game against West Ham tonight. What I don't get with him sometimes is, look, I don't like the fella, and you know, he's a bit of a pantomime villain and all that sort of stuff. We've actually heard from Warnock on the ProView that he's all right, which sort of goes against that, and that's no surprise really, because I think loads of them have a bit of a public persona and then what they're really like. Yeah. But what I don't get with him is sometimes I don't know if he just lets his mouth run away with him, which I realise is pot kettle on my behalf. But you know, you're not fit to wear the shirt. His words have created that headline, and basically saying that he doesn't think some of the players he's got at United right now have got the mental strength to be Manchester United players. I kind of don't know what that achieves right now. Do you? I mean, me and you fancy ourselves, don't we, as amateur psychologists these days? So
I'm going to drop the amateur soon, you know.
Oh yeah. You're just going to start. You're just going to own it.
Just going to start saying, yeah. I am. Yeah, I'm a psychologist.
What do you reckon to that?
I genuinely think he's a bit of a dying breed. I think the likes of Klopp, and look at Wagner, he's going to be so in demand this summer. When you listen to, did you see Aaron Moyes' quote about him after the game?
No.
And he basically said he's so level-headed and he's just kept us going. And like, they had a spell where they lost 5 games on the run, and most sides like Huddersfield that we've seen in the past that go through that just fall apart and crumble and can't come back. And he's got them to where they are through togetherness and belief and all the stuff that Klopp does as well. And I think the likes of Mourinho were sort of the old school, coming out and throwing players under the bus. I just don't think, especially, I think the problem, we've talked about this in the past about his players, the players at Man United know players at Liverpool and they know players at City, and they'll be chatting about what it's like there. And no matter who you are, even if you're not one of the players he's talking about, if he's talking about your mate, you're thinking, it's a bit out of order, that, Jose. You're just throwing people, like, and he hasn't named anyone in this.
Yeah, but every paper's gone. But it means Luke Shaw.
Oh, there you go again, yeah.
So,
loves throwing Luke Shaw under a bus, but. And I think this is, for Liverpool fans who go mad about Klopp and don't like the way he handles the dressing room and stuff, this is something to bear in mind, is that when he treats players well who he doesn't think are good enough, that goes down well across the dressing room and across football, because people will say, think about in normal life, wouldn't you much rather just someone treated you with respect and at the end of the season, at the end of your contract, said to you, do you know what, it hasn't really worked out, but we'll find you a new club and I wish you all the best in the future and I'll check on you and all that, instead of this, which is just it's like dinosaur stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, on the same subject as well, and I only just spotted this as you were talking, there's some other separate quotes he's gone on about where he's just talking about the leadership qualities of Michael Carrick, which, you know, fair enough and all that, but his quotes on that are a bit mad as well. He says the most important quality is to be a man, and then he spells out M-A-N, capitals, a proper man. Football is not full of them. Society is not full of them. So when you find one, you have to value him and you have to keep him. The club had a great many years from him playing football. Now when his body says it's enough, the club and myself want to keep him. But yeah, his major quality is being a man.
That sort of sums up what I've just been saying, doesn't it? About dinosaurs,
territory. He does sound a bit, I don't know, maybe some people are into that, but I'm not sure. You know, his record obviously is brilliant, his CV is brilliant, and he'll tell you that himself, Mourinho, but I don't know, there was a thing, wasn't he, where he could have got the Liverpool job once upon a time, and I always remember, I think it was Rick Parry saying, you know, when they saw him running down the touchline and doing the big celebration at Old Trafford, they just thought, he's not right for Liverpool, he doesn't suit Liverpool, he's not the type of image we want around the manager. Yeah. I wonder whether there's people at Manchester United thinking the same right now.
I think so. I remember before they got him, United fans didn't want him, and it was only because of the way it had gone over the space of a few years that they were like, we best get him because he'll sort us out and win things, which he has, in fairness. But I just don't, again, for the fans, if you're a United fan, it's interesting listening to the Friday show that Neil does on Tour Player, where he's chatting to fans of other clubs. And aside from our main rivals, which I wouldn't expect anything less, by the way, I don't want any of our main rivals to win the European Cup, but everybody else is making a point of saying to Neil, completely off topic, how much they're enjoying watching Liverpool in Europe under Klopp and how great it is and how entertaining it is and all that. And
no one says that about Manchester United.
No one's saying that about Man United.
No.
So, and if you're a United fan, you're thinking the same thing, surely. You're like, well, if I was a United fan, would there be a part of me that would prefer to have Wagner? And think, what could he do with a squad like this? And then that's obviously a massive jump from being a Huddersfield manager to a United manager, so I don't expect it to happen. But I think it'd be really interesting. I've thought this for a while now, and I know people who bang on about money loads talk about this. It would be interesting having a little test where you gave Klopp, Mourinho, Guardiola, a couple of others, maybe Conte and Simeone, a really shit team with no money, and see what they could do with them, and see which of them can get the most out of players.
Because Mourinho could once upon a time, didn't he? When he starts out in Portugal, he's managing clubs that haven't got money. But I sort of wonder whether he's a different beast now.
Well, I think that this isn't very popular. It didn't used to be popular when I said it. I think when he first came to England, I quite liked him, and I think the press loved him at the time, didn't they? They lapped it up. And I think what's happened to him, it happens to a lot of people, especially in the public eye, but can happen in private life as well. Is you can become a caricature of yourself, and you start behaving in a way that you think that everyone wants you to behave. And I think that's what's happened to him, and he's become sort of more miserable and dour over the years, which that isn't what he was about when he first came in.
Well, it's mad though, isn't it? Because I think you've seen headlines all season about him, and we've done loads of them on Talking Reds, and there's been loads of negativity. You've had the big thing with Paul Pogba, you've had the thing with Luke Shaw that we mentioned, you've had weird quotes like this. He's done lots of moaning, he's done kicking off on the press. And look, he could still end the season with another cup. Do you know what I mean?
And second in the league.
And yet no one's really talking about sort of the positives of it. I guess the Mancs are. I'm sure if you picked up United We Stand, there'll be people writing in there about that he's done a good job and he's brought trophies and that's what he was here for. But it's like the wider world are looking in going, sure about this fella. Anyway, one last plug before we go. On Saturday, there is the run for the 96 at Stanley Park. It is what it says on the tin. It's a 5k. I think there's also a shorter run for kids as well. Obviously, with money going to the cause around the 96. Myself, Gibbo, Craig Hannon and Johnny Milburn, we're all having a go of it. I haven't done any preparation whatsoever, so I see what happens. I've only ever ran 5k once before in my life when I was dressed as Father Christmas, so I kind of think I've got an advantage this time. I can wear shorts and that. So we'll see what happens, but that's 9:30 on Saturday. You can still enter as well, so look that up on the internet. Run for the 96 if you want to take part. Obviously money going to a good cause. I think there's a few boss people taking part. Jamie Carragher is running in it, I'm pretty sure, someone told me. So if you want to get down to that, get involved. Might see you there, hopefully see you at the finishing line and we can pick up a medal and I haven't collapsed on the floor. That's been Talking Reds. Up to Reds.